Hi, I'm Angela, and today I'm going to show you how to play the C major scale. Now, scale is a word that means to climb, like you could scale a ladder or scale a mountain. So on a scale, when we're playing a scale on piano, all you do is you play the notes one at a time, going up and then going down. For the C scale, it's pretty easy to know which notes to choose. All you do is you play all the white notes, starting on C and going all the way up until you reach the other C. Then you turn around and come back down. And voila, that's the C scale. But you probably realize, if you know anything about piano, we don't normally play piano this way. There's a certain fingering that we're going to use for the C major scale. And actually we're going to use it for a lot of other scales too. But C major is the best place to practice because on C major, again, you don't have to worry too much about what notes you're choosing. It's pretty easy. These ones, yes. These ones, no. So it's a great opportunity to practice this fingering and get really fluid at it before you try to move on to the other more challenging scales. So here's the fingering that we use for the C major scale. For the right hand, we start with the thumb on C, that C position. For those of you who have taken some lessons before, might be familiar with that. So we start with thumb on C, and then we play finger 1, 2, 3 before we cross underneath and play the rest of our fingers. On the way back down, we use all of our fingers, and then we cross over to finger 3. That gives us enough fingers to play all the way back down to the C. So that's 1, 2, 3, cross, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or in the other direction, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cross, 3, 2, 1. You'll notice this pattern on every scale. We always use the same fingers going up as we do coming down. So that's very nice to know. Now, on this cross, a lot of people get confused by the cross, but it's just like this. It's just your thumb traveling here under your hand. Notice that when you cross in the scale, that's all it is, just the thumb moving underneath the hand. Notice the elbow, not involved in any way here. It's just very nonchalant. We're going to cross the thumb under. And then on the way back down, again, it's just the thumb crossing under, or the hand crossing on top of the thumb. Kind of a little levitation action there. And that's it. You can practice that until you get really fluid at it, and you can play like this. What you're looking for here is a level of confidence where you can play this fingering without having to really look at your hand and kind of like while you're carrying on a conversation about something else. You want to try to put it in what's called your muscle memory, which means that your hand knows how to do it without you having to really think about it too much. It takes a little bit of practice to make that happen, but it's totally possible. And the great news is when you're practicing your scales, you can practice them without a piano. You can totally practice this fingering, when you're waiting in line at the grocery store, or when you're driving in your car, or when you're sitting listening, watching TV in the evening, whatever. Now, the left hand fingering is very similar, just backwards because your hands are backwards. So you're going to start with a pinky, play all of your fingers, then you're going to cross the 3 over, and that is going to put you landing on the thumb on C. On the way back down, remember, we use the same fingers as we used on the way up. So you go to 3, then you cross the 1, and so again, that fingering is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Voila, the C scale. Now, the ultimate goal here is to be able to play hands together like this. And that's what we're going to use for a lot of pieces. A lot of piano teachers ask you to do this. A lot of times college entrance exams or college exit exams require you to be able to play scales hands together just like that. Here's how you get from playing one hand at a time to playing both hands together like that. First of all, as I say, make sure you've committed each hand to muscle memory. to start hands together, I recommend, if you're not used to playing hands together, that you'd start with something we call contrary motion. That means the hands are moving in opposite directions. This seems like it might be a little bit more complicated, but actually it's easier for the C scale because your hands are backwards of each other, and that means the fingering is going to be backwards of each other as well. The hands are going to be using the same fingers, just moving in opposite directions. So that looks like this. You start with your thumb on C, play till you reach finger 3, then you cross. Boom! Got it. And coming back. So this is a really nice way to practice the hands together without the complication of the hands doing different things at different times. So again, build that up until you've got it in your muscle memory and you can do it without really thinking about it. Then when you're ready, you're going to move on to what we call parallel motion. That's like this, the hands moving in the same direction. Now for parallel motion, the scale works kind of like this. The first few notes, not too crazy, but then we have this challenging moment where the right hand has to cross and the left hand does not. Then we have this moment where the hands are using different fingers, and then we have this moment where the left hand has to cross and the right hand does not. I call that the danger zone. So we've got some easy notes, then danger, 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 and then after that, we're on easy street again. Same thing going down. We've got some notes that are simple, and then we've got some danger happening here, craziness, and then after that, we're home free. So what I recommend when you're practicing is that you don't use a steady beat with a C scale hands together at first. Instead, go with a steady beat on the easy parts and slow down and really think about what's happening on that danger zone, on that challenging bit. The last thing you want to do is to start practicing the scale wrong and put it in the muscle memory incorrectly, because that's really, really challenging to fix. Much better to go slow and think about it as you're learning it. That'll get you better results. So here's what that would look like. Slow it down, think carefully about what's happening here, and then speed it up. Speed it up, slow it down, as slow as you need to go to make sure that you've got the right fingers happening here, and then speed it up. Fast, slow, and then you can move it along. Think about it, think about it, think about it. Eventually you get to the point where that danger zone isn't really a danger anymore. And then you can just take it like this. Again, building speed and confidence until this isn't really a challenge anymore, until your fingers just kind of know it. Right? Gradually faster and faster. And that's it, friends. That is the C scale. Tune in our next lesson and I will show you some other major scales that use this exact same fingering. But before you do that, please take the time to learn the C scale, commit it to your muscle memory, be able to play it without really thinking about it, and you'll find that the rest of the scales come so much more easily to you after that. Thanks. Bye.